Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic with Zuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show's all about a little well-known card game called Magic the Gathering. So on today's episode, we are doing our full, complete set review of Zendikar Rising. We are doing the first color, just all the white cards. And in these set reviews, I typically go a little bit more on the casual side. I'll talk about if it's good in limited, possibly standard/historic. Since I've been playing more historic than standard lately, and if I find it's any good in Commander as well. So that's pretty much it. If you're looking for a review where like, hey, this is how you're going to be amazing at Sealed, this is not the stream for you. This is not the video for you or the podcast for you. I'm sorry. This is more for us casual normies out there that just want to be like, hey, is this card like pretty cool? I don't know. It's cool. And you maybe decent. I don't know. It could be fun. It's sort of like how I like doing it. I try to go in it with a mindset of, this card could be good, if XYZ happens, but I'm not definitely a pro at limited or construct or anything like that. We know that. We've seen me play. So, it's just more casual than anything. If you want to help support the show we have a Patreon at patreon.com/magicwithzuby, and then you can find me on Twitter at magicwithzuby, on Instagram at magic_with_zuby, and you can email me with any questions you may have at mtgzuby@gmail.com. And we've got two quick little ads out of the way, and then we'll get on to all the white cards of Zendikar Rising.
Well, hey there, Zoe. Why the long face there, chum?
I just want to order some magic cards, but the shipping was too expensive.
Too expensive? Well, did you know if you go to legitmtg.com, you can order any magic cards, and anything over $2 or more has free shipping?
Wow, free shipping's at legitmtg.com. That's amazing.
You heard that right, Zoe. Free shipping at legitmtg.com with any order over $2 or more. Be sure to visit today and get the best deal on Magic Singles and Magic Sealed product available.
Wow, that's amazing!
And that is how you beat the latest standard meta with Abzan.
Ugh, it feels like there's no Magic content out there for someone like me. Someone who doesn't want to be competitive. Someone who is...
A normie?
Yeah, exactly! A normie!
Well, have I got the show for you, the all-new Magic for Normies show.
Hi, I'm Pixie.
And I'm Zuby.
Together, we host the all-new
Magic for Normies.
It is the Magic the Gathering show for all your normie needs. We don't care what deck got into the top 8 or what deck is winning. We care about having fun playing Magic.
That's right, Pixie. You can watch us on Pixie's Twitch channel at twitch.tv/PixieKittenPlays and catch the VOD on our YouTube channel, Pixie Kitten Plays. If audio is your thing, you can find episodes on the Magic with Zuby RSS feed.
Magic for Normies.
Alright, so we are starting off with the white cards for Zendikar Rising. So if you are watching this video, you will see that I do have the card showing up on the screen, but if you're listening, you won't see that because it's just audio. So yeah, I guess we'll just continue on here. Alright, so starting off with the first white card for Zendikar Rising, Allied Assault. 2 and a white instant, up to 2 target creatures each get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures in your party. So that's a new mechanic in Zendikar Rising, where your party consists of up to 1 of each cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. So up to X+X, where X is the number of creatures in your party. So it definitely seems like party is going to be definitely a thing in limited for sure. So I guess it really depends on how many of these creature types you're actually drafting. Now this would be more mid to late pick in any of the packs, really, because I'd be looking more for creatures or removal or anything else like this before I even look for a card like this, because it could just give you +1/+1 if that's the only party member you have out on the field, right? So it's really not that good. This would not be a high pick at all for me. Next up, we've got Angel of Destiny. For 3 double white, it's an Angel Cleric creature. It's a mythic, our first mythic here. It's a 2/6 with flying double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. Okay, whoa. Wow. Okay. So I'm trying to think in limited here. I mean, just as pack one, pick one. Hell yeah. Because just looking at it on just the face of it, it's a 5 mana 2/6 with flying double strike, right? That on itself is really good. Okay. And then plus, you're going to have your opponent gain some life, right? So maybe the second or the third part of this card, we're saying if you have 15 life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. I feel like that's not going to happen that often in limited. It could happen for sure, but I feel like it's not going to happen as much as we really think it will be. So this one almost may even be better just sort of standing back and being a good blocker until maybe you can pump up the Angel enough to where you could gain a lot of life. Next up, we've got Angel Heart Protector. For 2 and a white, it's a human cleric creature. It's a 3/2. When this enters the battlefield, target creature you can control gains indestructible until end of turn. I mean, that's always good for protecting one of your creatures that maybe you want to go swinging and win. Maybe they've got Death Touch or something like that, or even double strike or something better, right? So that's always a good handy card to have, like a mid to late pick. Next up, we've got Archon of Emeria. For 2 and a white, it's an Archon creature. It's a 2/3 with flying. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Non-basic lands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. So as a limited player, a 2/3 for 3 with flying is not bad. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Could kind of go either way. It's going to stop a lot of combat tricks in your match. Meaning as soon as they cast a creature, that's it. They can't cast any more spells at that point. And with all the double face modal cards with a lot of flip lands here, this could also be useful because I do know there's a lot of flip lands that you can pay life to make it come in untapped. That just sort of negates this here. I mean, this could possibly be a pack one, pick one. But I wouldn't, if there's something better, like any kind of removal, pick that. This, it could go either way. It's not a bomb where it's gonna win you games, right? It's pretty decent. Next up, we've got Archpriest of Iona. It's a 1 white human cleric. It has power star and toughness of 2. Archpriest of Iona's power is equal number of creatures in your party, so it can only be up to a 4/2. At the beginning of a combat on your turn, if you have a full party, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. That's not too bad. This to me is not a pack one, pick one because it's a rare. But I mean, if you're trying to definitely go that party route, which hopefully it's not too hard to get a full party going in limited, I'll be really curious to see if it is when we start actually drafting and playing sealed on it. But I mean, it's definitely not a bad card at all. And could even be a really decent limited bomb should you have the party out. Next up, we've got Attended Healer. For 3 and a white. It's a core cleric. It's a 2/3. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token, and then you can pay 2 and a white, and another target cleric gains lifelink until end of turn. So that's not a bad creature where you have the possibility of pooping out a cat and just building up your board like that. And yeah, that's a pretty dang good card. I like it. Next up, we've got Canyon Jerboa. For 2 and a white. It's a mouse creature. It's such a cute art. Look at the art. It's so cute. It's a 1/2 with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. That could be a high pick for you because it's going to pump up all your creatures there. And landfall is like the easiest thing to trigger. And there's bound to be a lot of good landfall cards that you're going to be able to find in this set when you're drafting or playing sealed. To me would be a pretty high pick because it just pumps up your creatures. And if you have a way of playing more than one land, boom, now they have +2/+2 until end of turn. Next up is a Cliffhaven Sellsword. It's a 1 and a white core warrior. It's a 3/1, and that's it. It's your typical vanilla 3/1 2 mana white creature, and a core warrior just really this card just really helps you fill out your party should you need it. Next up, we've got Dauntless Unity for 1 and a white instant. It has a kicker of 1 and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, those creatures get +2/+1 until end of turn instead. So a really good combat trick, and for 4 mana, it's a really cheap card to do the kicking cost with it. So, even if you don't do the kicking cost, the fact that it's an instant to pump up all your guys is really good. And it's, could be a mid pick for sure if you're definitely going in white or you're going to be playing a lot of creatures. Next up, we've got Disenchant, this good old reprint. 1 and a white instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment. If you know that that's sideboard card for sure. And if you know that your opponent is playing a lot of artifacts or enchantments, hey, perfect card to sideboard in. Next up, we've got Emiria Captain. It's a 3 and a white angel warrior. It's a 1/1 with flying and vigilance. Okay, that's pretty cool. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on it for each creature in your party. So hopefully you've got plenty of party members to help support this, because you don't want this entering the battlefield as a 1/1, because that would just suck. A 1/1 for 4 with flying and vigilance, not very good. So hopefully you've got a few creatures out that can help you buff this up with your party and go from there, because otherwise, if you can, even if it comes out as like a 3/3, a flying and vigilance, that's still not bad at all. It's a pretty good card, if I may say so, if you're able to pump it up. If not, see, this is where the drawback of party kind of happens, where let's say your opponent just board wipes you, right? Or just kills off all your creatures, and the only creature you have in your hand is this Emiria Captain. Oh, great. Well, I guess I could play it, but it's a 1/1 now with flying and vigilance, and I just paid 4 mana for it. Kind of feels bad. Next up is Emiria's Call for 4 triple white, so 7 mana. It's a sorcery. Create 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until your next turn. So, and then you can also flip it to have this enter in as a plains. But you can pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So this is where, this is sort of like one of the new things with Zendikar, where you can choose, hey, do I want to cast the sorcery or do I need a land right here? With this being a mythic, this is a bit is very costly. It's a 7 mana, that 3 white, oof. But, I mean, so if you're paying 7 mana for 2 creatures, essentially, and your creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. I mean, I'd be tempted to pick one this, because you get 2 creatures out of it, and you get some indestructibility, or you can get a land. I gotta say, it's not a very exciting mythic, if I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't oh my gosh, this is really good. And it's not so much the cost of it, because we've all seen those mythic cards that just come out and they could be really costly, never really good, but they're really splashy. This one is just kind of meh. It doesn't excite me as a Magic player, right? Emiria's Captain is more exciting to me than this card. Not saying that it's a bad card, it's just, you're used to your mythics being kind of splashy. If we compare this to Angel of Destiny, that is more exciting, right? Because that's sort of oh, I can build around this. I can try to win with this card, right? This card doesn't do that to me very much. Next up, we've got Expedition Healer. It's a 1 and a white 2/2 with vigilance. It's a core cleric. This has a lifelink as long as you control another cleric. So a 2/2 for 2. It's a bear. Not bad, and has vigilance. Pretty good card, if I may say so. And these kind of 2/2s for 2 are always handy to have, especially on the low curve, and for just getting creatures out there and attacking your opponents there. Next up, we've got Farsight Adept for 2 and a white. It's a core wizard. It's a 3/3. So 3/3 for 3. That's not bad. When it enters the battlefield, you and target opponent each draw a card. I mean, okay. I mean, yeah, you have your opponent drawing a card, and you get to draw a card. So there is that, slight, it's not that great and all that. I can't think of the word. Right now. Or drawback, no pun intended. So it's a 3-mana 3/3. For this being a common, it's still pretty good. So this is a good card to fill out your party should you need it. Next up, we've got Fearless Fledgling. For 1 and a white, it's a Griffin creature. It's a 1/1 with landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Fearless Fledgling. It gains flying until end of turn. Ooh. So it gets a 1/1 counter. It doesn't just get +1/+1 until end of turn. So I kind of like this. So if you're able to keep this surviving, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And every time you play a land, it's going to have flying on it. Yeah, that's a pretty early snap keep, in my opinion. All right, next up, we've got Felidar Retreat. For 3 and a white, it's an enchantment, has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. Oh my god. So you get to choose one every time a land falls, and yeah, pack one, pick one. Oh my gosh. That is ridiculously good. I could even see this being standard playable, or even historic playable too. Doing some sort of like Bant landfall or something, I don't know, or Selesnya landfall, something like that. Even in Commander, I would play this in Commander, because especially in like a Selesnya deck or a Bant deck, anything with white and green in it, that's pretty dang good. Next up, we've got Journey to Oblivion. For 4 and a white, it's an enchantment. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. When this enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. So your typical sort of Banishing Light or type card. Yeah, Banishing Light would be the best way, or Cast Out or anything like that. But 5 mana is pretty costly, so hopefully you do get the cost reduction for this card. Otherwise, this is pretty good removal here. Even at 5 mana, this is some pretty decent premium removal, because it's not just creatures, it's any non-land permanent. Next up, we've got Kabira Outrider. 3 and a white. It's a human warrior. It's a 3/3. When this enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature in your party. Oh, so we could get up to +4/+4 until end of turn for each creature in your party. Ooh, that's not bad at all for 4 mana. Heck yeah. God, I could definitely, like, already I'm seeing white. White could be really aggressive in draft so far, I'm seeing. Could be really aggressive up front and then really clinch it in the mid game. Next up, we've got Kabira Takedown. 1 and a white instant. This deals damage equal number of creatures you controlled. So, to target creature or planeswalker. So, deals damage equal number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker. So, hopefully you control some creatures if you have that. If not, then you can always turn it around and make it a plains, which this is the kind of double face card that would not be bad at all. I would not mind picking this kind of card, because this could be very handy to where, okay, yeah, I just got a board wipe, but I need some mana. Boom. Now you got another plains there. Boom. There you go. Thank you. Next. Next up, we've got Kite Sail Cleric. For 1 mana, for 1 white mana. It's a core cleric. It's a 1/1 with kicker for 2 and a white. Has flying. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, tap up to 2 target creatures. So, hey, for 4 mana, you could possibly tap up to 2 target creatures your opponents control, and boom, there you go. Helps, open up the way, opens up the path. This is the way to be able to, hit your opponent in the face there. Next up, we've got Core Blade Master. For 1 and a white. It's a core warrior. It's a 1/1 with double strike. Equipped warriors you control have double strike. Ooh. So a 2 mana 1/1 with double strike. Okay, not bad. And with the possibility of you being able to pump this up as well too. I may want to play around with something like this. Even by itself, not too bad. Does first strike and normal damage. Boom, there you go. Next up, we've got Core Celebrant. For 2 and a white, it's a core cleric. It's a 1/4. When this or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. So a Soul Sister type effect. So just gaining more life. These kind of cards are always decent to have in draft. And then I can also see this possibly being used in a life gain deck. Not really. I mean, well, not really, because there's better options at 1 and 2 mana for this kind of gaining life. But hey, you never know. The 1/4, it does have a big booty to protect itself. Next up, we've got Legion Angel. It's a 2 double white angel warrior. It's a 4/3 with flying. When this enters the battlefield, you may reveal a card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game and put it into your hand. Okay, so in draft, so if we're looking at this just purely in draft, it's a 4 mana 4/3 with flying, not bad. The other effect, you know, you get to reveal a card named Legion Angel from outside the game. Most of the time, it's not going to happen. You're only going to ever draft, most of the time, just one of these, unless you get super lucky, right? That always happens. So, this would not be a pack one, pick one for me. It's a kind of, it's okay. Like, there's other cards out there that are going to be better. So, I would, if you were to open this up in your first pack, I'd look for something like removal or anything else like that to see what else out there is better for you. Next up, we've got Luminarch Aspirant, or Aspirant. Aspirant? Aspirant? I don't know how you say it. 1 and a white human cleric. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So it's a 1/1 for 2 mana. For what this does, where you're going to constantly be putting 1/1 counters on something as long as this lives, this could definitely be a pack one, pick one. And just to help you pump up your creatures, yeah, I like this a lot. Either you put it on itself or something else that's even better. I like it. Yes, pack one, pick one for sure. Way better than Legion Angel, I'd have to say. Next up, we've got Makindi Ox. For 4 and a white. It's an Ox creature. It's a 4/4 for 5 and has a landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. Okay, I really like that a lot. That is a really good card to, you know, because most of the time we see these kind of cards in white where you have to pay something to tap a creature, right? Your opponent's creatures. Or you have to tap the creature in order to tap the other creature, right? So this is the landfall version of this that we see this a lot commonly away. And this is a much better version of this too, where you don't have to tap anything. You just have to play a land. Obviously, that's where the weakness lies because you may not have a land to play. So it's a really handy card if you're going heavy in white. Could be a mid to late pick for sure. Next up, we've got Makindi Stampede for 3 double white. It's a sorcery. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. So a 5 mana pump spell. It's a sorcery. Not the greatest. And then you can also flip it if you need a land as well. It's a Makindi Mesas. So Makindi Stampede, 5 mana, and you get to pump up all your creatures. Could be a good game-winning strike there. So you don't want to completely discount this card, and plus the fact that you could use it for a land as well is also super handy. So could be useful, Next up, we've got Maul of the Skyclaves. Maul, not Maul. Maul of the Skyclaves. It's 2 and a white equipment. It's a rare. When this enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and first strike. Ooh, dang. So you just pay 3 mana and it's going to automatically attach to something as long as it lives. And, geez, I could definitely see this being a pack one, pick one because, God, that is so good. Gives it +2/+2 and has flying and first strike. Oh, man, that's really good in draft there. Yeah, that could definitely be either a pack one, pick one or a very early pick. Next up, we've got Mesa Lynx. It's 1 and a white. It's a cat creature. It's a 2/1. As long as it's not your turn, this gets +0/+2. So when it's not your turn, it's going to be a 2/3. So it could be a good blocker. When it is your turn, you want to be cautious about attacking with it because it could be a better blocker, right? Could be a better blocker. It's not a bad common though. Next up, we've got Nahiri's Binding for 1 double white. It's an enchantment aura. So this is a really, really good pacifism here, and this will be so handy. I can definitely see this being played in standard historic, even even commander here. So you enchant creature or planeswalker, enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So you can not just shut off creatures here, you just shut off planeswalkers too. Great answer to planeswalkers here. Super great. And in a format like limited to where when your opponent plays a planeswalker and you don't have a kill spell handy, boom, there you go. And it's at common too, right? So most likely you're going to see this being passed around in a draft table. Next up, we've got Undo Inversion for 6 double white. It's a sorcery, destroy all non-land permanents. So a planar cleansing, a really expensive planar cleansing, right? Because planar cleansing is 3 triple white. This is 6 double white. So this is 8 mana for a board wipe. Or you can flip it and make it a land. But a pack one, pick one, 8 mana. That's super expensive. In limited games, sometimes do go longer, so I would look for something else, I'll be honest. And I don't see this seeing much standard or historic play at all. It's just too expensive for 8 mana, to be honest. There's got to be something better. I mean, pick it if you think you're really going to be getting up there to destroy it. It's not that it's bad, it's just, it's expensive and slow. Next up, we've got Paired Tactician. For 2 and a white, it's a human warrior. It's a 3/2. When this and at least one other warrior attack, put a 1/1 counter on Paired Tactician. Ooh. So it's a 1/1 counter. And it's not going to be hard to get another warrior with you on that. Yeah, that could be a really decent card. Could be early to mid pick for sure. Next up, we've got Practice Tactics. A 1 white mana instant, choose target attacking or blocking creature. This deals damage to that creature equal to twice the number of creatures in your party. So it could do possibly up to 8 damage. Once again, this is the type of card where it could be either really good or just do nothing for you if you have no creatures in your party. Because you could be screwed like that. I'd be careful with this kind of card. This would be a mid to late pick more than anything. Next up, we've got Pressure Point. It's 1 and a white. It's an instant, tap target creature, draw a card. Hey, always good for doing before your opponent goes into combat. You tap their attacking creature, boom, draw a card. I like it. Simple, good to use, very handy. Next up, we've got Prowling Felidar. It's 3 and a white. It's a cat beast creature. It's a 2/3 for 4. It has vigilance. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on this card. Hey, that's not bad. If you're going landfall theme, this is a really good card with the vigilance and it getting counters and all that. Super good. Super good. It's funny, like most of the landfall creatures I've seen in this are exciting me more than like a lot of the party creatures here, like the clerics, the wizards, and warriors and all that. Landfall so far in white seems to be pretty dang good, if I may say so. Next up is Resolute Strike for 1 white mana. It's an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's a warrior, you may attach an equipment you control to it. So let's ignore if it's the second part, if it's a warrior. So just a pumping your creature up +2/+2 is pretty good for possibly saving it or a combat trick. So it's not bad at all. And if you happen to have an equipment, you know, I feel like if it's a warrior part is just a bonus to it. So it's not bad for it being a common. It's not bad at all. And could be a really good combat trick for you in white. Next up, we've got Seagate Banneret. It's a 1 white mana core warrior. It's a 1/2. A 1/2 for 1, not bad. So you can pay 4 and a white, and creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So this could be one of those good late game creatures to where you have a lot of mana, you have nothing to do with it, but I'm gonna spend 10 mana and pump up my creatures +2/+2 because why not? You know, hey, you can do it, awesome. It's not a bad creature, definitely like a mid to very late pick more than anything. Next up, we've got Sajiri Shelter for 1 and a white. It's an instant. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Okay, awesome. So similar to a God's Willing. The only difference is this can also flip and become a land should you need it into Sajiri Glacier. So it's not a bad card. It's a really good combat trick to protect your creature from dying. Next up, we've got Shepherd of Heroes for 4 and a white. It's an Angel Cleric with flying. It's a 3/4, so 3/4 for 5. When this enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each creature in your party. So once again, it all really depends on how many creatures you have out on the battlefield to see how useful this would be. At most, this would, or at the least, this will give you 2 life when this enters the battlefield because it'll count itself. Next up, we've got Skyclave Apparition for 1 double white. It's a Core Spirit. It's a 2/2. When this enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control. Here, I'm going to... Yeah, I should have done that before earlier so I can see because the text is a little bit small here. So when this enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. When this leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token where X is converted mana cost of the exiled card. Okay, so they'll never get that exiled card back ever, because that's always been sort of the theme of white in the past, to where it'll exile something, but when it leaves, you get that card back. Here, they're never getting that card back. Yeah, they'll get a creature back eventually, hopefully, for their sake at least. But they're never going to get that really pesky card back. I kind of like that. This could definitely be a pack one and pick one, because this could get rid of that pesky permanent, that non-land, non-token permanent that you're having to deal with. It could be getting rid of the Planeswalker, could be getting rid of their Banishing Light, whatever it may be, right? So yeah, pack one, pick one for sure on that. Really good card. Next up, we've got Skyclave Cleric. For 1 and a white, it's a Core Cleric. It's a 1/3. When it enters battlefield, you gain 2 life. Or you can flip it and make it a land for Skyclave Basilica. So a 1/3 for 2, not the worst. You gain some life. It could be good if you need to fill out your party and all that. Or this could be good if you just need a land. Alright, we're on the last 4 white cards here. The first of the last 4 is Squad Commander. For 3 and a white, it's a Core Warrior. It's a 3/3. When this enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white Core Warrior creature token for each creature in your party. So at worst, it'll create 1 of them. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party creatures you control, get +1/+0 and gain indestructible till end of turn. So if I were to pack one, pick one this card, I would definitely want to try to build a party deck, right? This is the kind of card that makes me go, ooh, okay, now my draft or seal deck is going to be party themed, and I want all 4 creatures. I want plenty of them in my deck, and because I want this to be my big bomb, my mid-range bomb, and boom, my creatures all have indestructible, and there you go. Love it. So yeah, it'll even give itself indestructible because it doesn't say other creatures. So I like this a lot. I like it a lot. So yeah, this would be the really good build around type of card. And heck, this would even be good in Commander, because you could, because people are obviously going to try to build party Commander decks, especially with the D&D set on the horizon. Hopefully that becomes even more apparent. And this would be a good slot in your Commander deck as well. Next up, we've got Smite the Monstrous. It's 3 and a white instant. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Always great white removal. Always very handy to have. That's going to be pretty common to see with creatures like that. So pick it. It's premium removal right there. Tazim Raptor for 2 and a white. It's a bird that's a 2/2 with flying. When this enters the battlefield, you may return a land you control to its owner's hand. I like that. So let's say, you've got 4 mana, you play this and you return a land, right? You also have a landfall creature out, but you haven't played a land yet this turn. You play this, return a land, boom, you just played a land, boom, triggering landfall again. I love it. I love it. A 2/2 for 3 flying, that's not bad at all. And the fact that you can use this to try to re-trigger landfall again, I like it a lot. I like it. You can probably tell, I really like landfall and all that. So our last but not least white card here for the Zendikar Rising set is Tazri, Beacon of Unity. It is 4 and a white. It's a human warrior, legendary creature. It is a mythic. It is a 4/6. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. So even if you don't have any, 5 mana 4/6 is good. So it also has hybrid mana here. So if you don't have all the other colors, the blue, black, red, and green, you can pay 2, 4, 6, 8. You can pay 8 mana. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 Cleric, Rogue Warrior, Wizard, and or ally cards from among them. Put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So let's say that, you know, you're drafting a 2 to 3 color deck here, right? And pack one, pick one, hell yes, because this helps you dig through your deck to find more creatures. I mean, this will also be like the party commander, I can tell as well too. It's really good, and oh my god, since it can find ally cards, and I know ally is not a thing in Zendikar Rising, but oof, that could be a really fun ally commander as well too. That kind of makes me want to build her as my ally commander. But Winota is my ally commander right now, and Winota is just stupid good. So yeah, it's a really good card. Helps you dig through your deck. Perfect pack one, pick one. Because even at 5 mana, 4/6, that's a really tough booty. And the fact that it can help you dig through your deck is even better. Do you have to reveal them? Oh, you may reveal. So yeah, you do have to reveal. So even then, it's still not bad at all that you get to dig through your deck. I like it a lot. So there you go. Those are all the white cards for Zendikar Rising. We will be continuing on with the rest of the colors. Blue, black, green, red, multicolored / artifact / lands. And we'll continue on from there. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks, everybody.